Hello my dear students, welcome to 5th virtual class in which we are continuing the topic morphology of flowering plants. In today's class, we are going to learn about the essential whorls of the flower. As we know, the flower bears 4 whorls: calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. As we already come across with calyx and corolla in the previous class, now we'll pass on to androecium and gynoecium. Remember, flower is an reproductive part of the plant which involves in sexual mode of reproduction. To carry out the sexual reproduction in the flowering plant, the flower bears the 2 sex organs. That is, one is called the male sex organ and another called as a female sex organ. These 2 organs will produce the gametes, which are meant for sexual reproduction. In that, we'll discuss about the first one called androecium. Androecium is the male reproductive part of the flower. Male reproductive part which produces the male gamete in the form of pollen grains. It is the androecium made up of units called stamens. Single is stamen, many stamen, together it is called stamens. Each stamen will bear 2 or 1 anther lobe, and these 2 anther lobes are going to connected with each other, and there is a long filament which attaching to the plant body. It is the 3rd whorl. Remember, androecium is the 3rd whorl present in a flower, made up of units called as an stamens. The stamen which show single lobe or bilobe, that is made up of 2 lobe. So single lobe or bilobe which enclosing the pollen sacs. The single lobe called monadelphous, it will going to contain, or the single lobe anther bearing 2 pollen sacs, whereas bilobed anther bear 4 pollen sacs which are arranged in that. So each of the stamen, whether it may be single lobed like what you can see in case of hibiscus, single lobed, or it will be bilobed, bearing the pollen sacs which enclosing the pollen grains, which are acting as male gametes, which are going to play a very important role during sexual reproduction. The stamens which are showing the 2 anther lobes which enclosing the number of pollens inside, which are going to act as a male gamete. There are certain stamens which are sterile, which are unable to produce any pollens. So such sterile stamens are called staminodes. They are called staminodes, which are not having the fertile pollens. So such condition of the sterile stamens are called staminodes, which are failed to undergo reproduction. The stamens which show different conditions in different flowers. In some cases, the stamens are found in a condition called epipetalous condition. The word epipetalous indicating epi means outer, petals relates to petals. Here, stamens attached to petals. Such condition is called epipetalous condition. Similarly, in some cases, the stamens are found attached to perianth. Perianth is the condition where the calyx and corolla is non-distinguishable. So in such case, if the stamens are attached to perianth, it is called epiphyllous. Epiphyllous stamens, where the stamens are attached to perianth and they are freely suspended in an air. That what we can found in case of monocot plants like grass, wheat, etc. Similarly, we have one more type called monadelphous condition. In monadelphous, stamens are found in a single bundle. Let me show in the form of a diagram. In epipetalous condition, the stamens are attached to the petals. Here, the stamens are attaching to the petals, like you have seen in jasmine flower or in vinca flower. The stamens are attaching to the petals. It is called epipetalous condition. Whereas in case of monadelphous, as the name itself indicating, monadelphous, mono means single bundle of stamens. In this case, stamens are found in one single bundle. Here there are number of stamens. The filaments of the stamens are joined together to form the bundle. So this condition where the stamens are found in one single bundle is called monadelphous condition. One of the feature what you can found in the family Malvaceae, like in cotton, hibiscus, we will come across such condition called monadelphous condition. Similarly, we have other two types, diadelphous condition, as the name itself indicating. Di means two bundles of stamens are found. Here, the stamens are arranged, are found in two bundles. Here one single stamen, like what you can see in case of Papilionaceae or Fabaceae family. Some stamens are found in two bundles. So this condition where the stamens are found in two bundles is called diadelphous condition. Whereas in monadelphous, single bundle where the filaments of the stamens are attached to form one single bundle. Similarly, we have one more condition called polyadelphous. In this case, more than two bundles of stamens are found. Such condition is called polyadelphous condition. Let me show here. It will found in many bundles, like 3 bundles or 4 bundles, like usually what you can found in case of citrus Rutaceae members. We come across with this condition called polyadelphous condition, where the stamens are found in more than 2 bundles, so such condition is called polyadelphous condition. So whether it may be monadelphous or diadelphous or polyadelphous or it may be epipetalous, always the stamens show the presence of pollens, which is acting as a male gamete, which is meant for sexual reproduction, and if it is sterile stamen, unable to produce any pollens, then that sterile stamen is called staminode. Okay, so this is called as a male reproductive part called andrecium, which is made up of units called the stamens. Now we will pass on to another essential wall of the flower, which is must for the reproduction, called gynoecium. Gynoecium is the fourth innermost whorl of the flower, which is acting as female reproductive part, which is found as an topmost or the fourth whorl. So it is the female reproductive part of the flower, which is made up of units called carpels. It is made up of unit called carpel. Carpel is otherwise also called as pistil. Each pistil show 3 distinct regions. The basal bulbous portion attaching to the thalamus is called as an ovary, and the long middle portion of the pistil called style, and the terminal slightly flat structure called the stigma. It is the ovary which encloses the number of ovules attaching to the placenta, which is going to develop into seeds after fertilization. So these are the ovules, which is acting as a female gamete, which is going to form a seed after fertilization, whereas the style is the middle portion, which is a long thread-like structure through which the pollen tube will passes and moving towards the ovule, whereas stigma is the receptive spot which receives the pollen grains at the time of sexual reproduction, that is by means of pollination. Pollens will reach us to the stigma, and pollens will sit on the stigmatic surface, draw the nutrients, moisture content present on the stigma, and each pollen grain will germinate, and the pollen tube will passes through the style and reaching towards the ovule, which affects fertilization. So this is what we called the single pistil. Like that, there are many pistils which are found in a flower. That is, it may be one pistil, or it may be 2 pistils, it may be many pistils still found based on the number of carpels. It will be monocarpellary, single carpel, bicarpellary, 2 carpels, multicarpellary, more than 2 carpels. So the number of carpels will be differing in a ovary. So each of this pistil is going to play a very important role in the process of reproduction. The carpels which are found, if it is found with more than 2 number, listen carefully, if the carpels are found in more than 2 number, it may show 2 conditions. One is apocarpous condition, and another called syncarpous condition. I'll repeat. If the carpels are more than 2, it may show 2 conditions, apocarpous or syncarpous condition. If the carpels are 2 or more, and if the carpels are free, carpels are free from one another, that has been not attached, then that condition is called apocarpus condition. The best example you can see in case of Michaelia, that is Michaelia champaka. Many carpels are found and each of the carpel is free from one another. That has been forming a fruit with multiple number of carpels like this, where carpels are not attached to one another. Similarly, syncarpus condition. The word syn means fusion, where carpels are fused to each other. That forms a single fruit after fertilization, where the carpels are going to remain attached or fused. That condition is called syncarpus. Like example, you are seeing tomato. There are many chambers are found in a tomato. Each chamber is one carpel. Similarly, you are seeing lady's finger. Let me show you a sectional view of lady's finger. In a cross-sectional view of lady's finger, you can see this star-shaped structure, and this is the placenta here to which the ovules are attached. So each of this chamber is one carpel, and all these carpels are attached to one another. Because of that, we can form one single fruit, what we call lady's finger. So such condition where the carpels are fused is called as an syncarpus condition. Okay, so the syncarpus condition where the carpels are fused, apocarpus is the condition where the carpels are free. So carpels showing the bulbous portion ovary which enclosing the ovules, and the ovules after fertilization that will develop into seed. Once the seed forms, the ovary, in most of the cases, ovary will develop into fruit after fertilization. Okay, so in this side, inside the ovary, there are number of ovules are arranged attaching to this stalk called placenta, to which the ovules are attached, draws the nutrients, minerals from the plant body. So the placenta is differing in different ovules. One interesting and very important topic called placentation. Placentation is nothing but the arrangement of ovules within the ovary attaching to the placenta is called placentation. So it is nothing but arrangement of ovules inside or within the ovary, that is attaching to the ovary, the number of ovules are attached. So that condition is called placentation. So placentation is found in different forms in different plants. Basically, there are 5 different types of placentation. One is called marginal placentation, then axial placentation, then parietal placentation, then free central placentation, then lastly basal placentation. So these are the 5 major type of placentation what you can found in angiosperms. Firstly, marginal placentation. Here in marginal placentation, placenta occupies at the margin of the ovary, or in other words, the placenta occupies towards one of the corner of the ovary. Like example, let me show with a diagram. You might have been seen, all of you, in the beans or pea. We can see there is a stalk to which the ovules are attached. Ovules are attached to this stalk this stalk, here what I have shown with a blue color, it is nothing but the placenta here. So placenta occupy towards the margin. Best example you can see in case of P. So placenta occupies at margin of ovary. Example, P or bean or crotalaria. There are a number of examples. Whereas axial placentation, in case of axial placentation, placenta occupies at center of the ovary. It is found at the center of the ovary and it is separated by septa. Septa is present here. So let me show one diagram here. In case of hibiscus or in case of lady's finger, we come across with the placenta at the center and there is an septum separating the carpels to which the ovules are attached here. The placenta is at the center to which the ovules are attached is called as an axial placentation. The best example for axial placentation is in case of lady's finger or hibiscus flower. Whereas parietal placentation, in case of parietal placentation, the placenta occupies on the inner lining of the ovary. I'll repeat, placenta occupies on the inner lining of the ovary. Let me show the third diagram here. In case of parietal placentation, on the inner lining of the ovary, so this is the ovary which show tricarpillary condition. Here the placenta occupies at this corners. Might have been seen all of you in pumpkin or even in case of papaya. We found the number of ovules attached here. This is called parietal placentation. The best example is papaya or pumpkin, which show parietal placentation. Whereas in central placentation, which resembles axial placentation, here placenta occupies at the center of ovary but without septa. There is no septa here. So in this case, placenta occupies at the center and the number of ovules attached to that, but there is no septum found. This condition is called as an free central placentation. Okay, for this example is the evening primrose, or even if you take capsicum, that show the condition called free central placentation. Then comes the basal placentation. In case of basal placentation, as the name itself indicating, placenta occupies at the base. At the base. So it is found at the base of ovary. Placenta occupies at the base of ovary is called basal placentation. Let me show you in form of a diagram here. In a basal placentation, placenta occupying at the base, that is at the base it is attached with a single ovule. So this condition is called as an basal placentation, and this is found in case of an sunflower or in case of tridacts, we come across with an basal placentation. So this is about the different types of placentation which will found in angiosperm, which is one of the important questions from point of examination for 5 marks, repeated asking question. Define placentation and explain the different types of placentation with an example. So it is repeatedly asking question. So with this, we have come to an end of the essential walls of flower. In the next class, we will discuss about the fruit and the different types of fruits, etc. So till then, be safe at home. Thank you. Have a good day.